me back to the place I know, with the mystery shack and the forest gnomes. I'm already packed, so come on, let's go. Don't get me started, my heart's in Gravity Falls. Welcome to Mystery Shack Look Back, a nostalgic time capsule and no spoiler book club of the original Gravity Falls fandom. We are your curators. I'm Ella.
I'm Charley. The hiatus. It's like purgatory, but for nerds.
And it's worse. It's definitely worse.
So, Gideon Rises aired...
Oh. Wow. Michael, you... How forward.
Sorry, I'm just,
You just really bristle at the mention of the hiatus. Very... Yeah, I know,
See,
right?
there I go again. Ugh.
I know!
Michael William Hunter from Come On Fhqwhpods.
Hello, yes. That is my name.
If I am not mistaken, this is your second time on Mystery Shack Look Back.
It is.
Do you know what that means?
No. What does that mean? Do I get a prize?
You're gonna graduate to docent.
Which I think is the greatest prize of all.
If you are visiting a museum the first time you are a guest, if you have been to this museum enough to give tours, you are a docent.
Ooh.
And 2 times is definitely enough.
For our podcast.
I think for all museums, right?
Yeah.
Michael, I need you to place your left hand on this copy of Journal 3 and your right hand in the air and repeat after me.
Okay.
I, state your name,
I, Michael William Hunter,
That's right.
do solemnly swear to uphold
do solemnly swear to uphold
the duties of a Mystery Shack Look Back docent,
the duties of a Mystery Shack Look Back docent,
to preserve the history
to preserve the history
and protect the mystery
and protect the mystery. Ooh, that rhymes. I like that.
I know, I wrote that part. You like it?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
of the Gravity Falls fandom.
Of the Gravity Falls fandom.
And I hereby vow
And I hereby vow
to book Ella and Charley to guest on Female Flashbacks, Female Dangeresque 3, the Cheat Commandos commercial, or any upcoming Come On Fhqwhpods of equivalent size.
Okay.
Oh, you guys.
Wait a
Those
second. That
tricksters.
Nosferatu.
Man, having 2 amazing people on our podcast multiple times on amazing cartoons. How could we not?
Oh, you flatter us so. Michael William Hunter, yes, you co-host Come On Fhqwhpods, for listeners who, I guess, skipped our Deep End episode and had to go immediately to shorts.
Also, David mentions you being his co-host on the episodes about the finale. So for the people who skipped the episodes about the season finale, straight to the shorts.
Yeah, so who cares about any of that stuff? Who cares about those episodes?
The final episode of season 1, Gideon Rises, came out in August 2013.
So when did season 2? When do we get season 2?
Don't know. Nobody knows. However...
Wait a minute, what happens next? Come on, let's see the next episode.
It was cancelled. No, it wasn't canceled. That's from Toy Story 2.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
But now we have made it to October. Still no sign of season 2 in sight. However, there is not quite a light at the end of the tunnel, but a flicker.
Kind of like you're constantly lighting and relighting a match, and then it keeps getting wet because it's like a cave.
Uh-huh.
But you're like, we can kind of see some stuff. There's like...
You found a dry enough spot that your match can stay lit at this point, because no mysteries will be answered, but you can hear the characters' voices again.
It's true, because they started releasing these Gravity Falls shorts, little like 2 to 3 minute little short stories. Starring the Pines family that we have come to know and love, and probably more than that, obsess over, desperate to see more of, etc., etc.
Michael, you're probably curious why we asked you to come here today.
I am, yes.
Why we needed your unique skill set as a curator.
Yes, my Liam Neeson-esque skills.
Your unique set of skills is to research Matt Chapman for your podcast, Come On Fhqwhpods, a Homestar Runner podcast, about the web series that Gravity Falls writer and voice actor Matt Chapman created long before he worked on Gravity Falls.
Yes. You're talking about 2 more eggs.
Yeah, of course. No, you host a podcast about Homestar Runner, and in February 2014, someone tweeted at Gravity Falls writer Tim McKeown asking which shorts he wrote, and he responded, he only wrote one of them. Matt Chapman is the genius behind many of them. Now, why do you think, of all of the writers on Gravity Falls,
these TV writers,
they would ask Matt Chapman to write these 2 to 4 minute segments?
Oh, because that's his bread and butter. That's what he'd been doing for, like, almost a decade prior to that.
The one that Tim McKeown says he wrote, I believe, is the one of the earliest here.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like there was an effort to get every writer involved in it. I'm guessing. This is complete speculation, but it seems like there was an effort to get every writer involved on the shorts, and then Matt kept showing them up because, yeah, no, he did not know how to write a TV show. His first script, he accidentally did the line spacing wrong.
Oh.
And accidentally wrote a double-length episode. But
when they're like, hey, we need, like, just a quick little, like, funny 2-minute thing, it was like...
my time has come!
It's like I was made for this.
Yeah.
So that is why we have brought you on today. That is what your Liam Neeson set of skills applies to here.
Ooh, I'm excited now. Even more so than before.
It's kind of like a heist, and you're like the Matt Chapman researcher in your chair, and you're like, get out of there. Matt Chapman's on his way.
Get out of there! That's Trogdor the Burninator! He burninates the countryside!
Then we're like, English, please. And you're like...
Dragon man, bad.
So, yeah, the first set of shorts started airing on October 14th, 2013. But something else happened on October 2014 that I would be remiss not to bring up on this podcast, and frankly, I don't know where else we have the opportunity to talk about this. On October 14th, 2013, Alex Hirsch tweeted a picture of this game that appeared on the App Store, like on the iTunes Store. And, Charlie, do you want to give your best attempt to read?
Oh, yeah, okay, I'll be Alex. Hi, guys! Join Dinper and Mabel in this game for the Hall family.
And so the image that he tweeted is of this, and Michael, why don't you describe what you're seeing here?
Oh, that looks like some copyright infringement if I've ever seen one.
Yes, this is Mystery Kids Run.
Mystery Kids Run.
Mystery Kids Run was an app. It is an app, actually. It is still on the App Store as far as I can tell. It's one of those, like, infinite scrolling games, and it looks vaguely familiar to me. I don't know if you're picking up on anything here, Michael.
Michael, I know you're not. We didn't bring you in because you are a lawyer with extensive research on, intellectual property. However, what are you noticing about these screenshots?
Oh, I love it. I think that it's the perfect blend of knockoff, like, to just barely be passable as being its own unique character, but, like, Mabel has, like, or I guess, like, I'm gonna call her Fable.
Or you could use Alex Hirsch's name for her, which is Mabel without an E, Mabel.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, that's right.
Oh, and the iTunes description. The iTunes description reads, join Jack as he maneuvers through the mysterious forest. Dodge obstacles and speed through to test your reflexes. Fun for boys and girls of all ages. Sorry, Charlie, you can't.
Dang.
Try it out today.
Only fun for boys and girls. Oh.
Only fun for folks on the binary.
I also have never had an iPhone, so there are a number of reasons I will never play
there's a lot of recoloring going on here.
What?
Like...
What are you talking about? Jack wears jeans. Dipper wears shorts. You're very confused.
Yeah, and Jack has, like, this blonde hair.
And Mabel here is wearing the most boring sweater of all time.
It's a sweater with nothing on it, yeah.
Just a plain blue sweater.
And also the fact that they have irises is kind of freaking me out.
Oh, yeah,
Because that rarely happens on Gravity Falls.
And why don't you just show the game over screen to Michael and just...
Oh, no. First I want to point out, on this second screenshot, the place they live is called the Mystery Store.
No, mystery doesn't seem to be on the sign from what I could see.
Oh, it's just the store. Okay, yeah.
No, it's just the store. Store!
The sad thing is that Grunkle Stan would absolutely approve of this game. So here's
Ella, don't kid yourself. Grunkle Stan made this game.
Yeah, you're right. He did. I think that's it. So here's the
Wait a minute. Is Jack just running on like an endless dock? Like,
yeah,
what
it's
is
like an
this?
endless scroller game. Like
Boardwalk forever.
you're always welcome in my boardwalk forever.
And why
Oh,
don't you
God.
read the game over screen here for us, Michael? It's the last image Ella sent.
Oh, I love it. It's just you die.
Which I said has your head explode energy.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the space in between the exclamation point and die.
Seuss over Stan's shoulder like, that's a little harsh, Stan. What about, like, game over or something? Or try again?
I can't help but notice that you drew X's over Dipper's eye. No, this is Jack, Seuss.
And Jack is dead, Seuss. Jack has a mortal coil just like the rest of us that he will one day shuffle off.
Any resemblance to persons living or dead, in this case dead, purely coincidental. Yeah, so Mr. Kid's Run became a pretty big inside joke for a time in the fandom, and I knew I had to bring it up here because it was tweeted about on the same day that the first short aired.
That's beautiful.
Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained is what the first series of shorts are under the subtitle of. Those were the ones that aired every weekday in October, starting on the 14th. At 7:25 p.m.
Yeah, I think it's because they would basically, it would take the slot of a commercial break or something. After probably Dog with a Blog.
Michael, click the Disney Plus link and let's watch Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained.
Monday, catch the premiere of all new Gravity Falls shorts. Dude! And solve the biggest mysteries of Monstober.
What did I shave into my head this morning?
During Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained week.
Today we investigate Gravity Falls anomaly number 82.
Every night starting at 7/6 Central.
I got an idea. I got the same one.
Watch Gravity Falls, followed by a brand new Gravity Falls shorts.
No, show over.
Where Dipper gets answers. To Gravity Falls' most baffling questions.
Nothing's gonna sneak up on old Dipper.
Plus, look for puzzle pieces.
Okay, I'm ready. I've covered myself in armor.
During Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained week. Starts Monday at 7/6 Central on Disney Channel.
Alright, so, we just watched the first series of Gravity Falls shorts, Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained. So Michael, what is your initial take on having watched these 6 shorts?
Oh, boy. That was a fun ride. It definitely gave me some Homestar Runner vibes for sure. There's a lot of those types of, we don't know necessarily what to do here, so we're just gonna have somebody, sing do like
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely some Homestar Runner energy there. You have like weird little creatures that give everybody the giblies. Like it's pretty great.
And the ability to just, from a writing standpoint, just go in, tell some jokes, and get out is like harder than it looks for sure. And I
That's
think
probably why Matt wound up taking over most of the duties.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Matt strikes me as being the type of person that doesn't intentionally mean to take over the project, but like because he knows how.
Yeah, everyone else must have known that he has more experience in the 1-minute format than the rest of them.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he can set up so many of these jokes and have little payoffs and stuff like that and still be true to the characters.
Right, that's what I really love. And I think especially throughout these, like, maybe it's just that I've been so involved in the fandom that I kind of you forget what the canon characterization is like if you're around so much fanon.
Mm-hmm.
But Dipper is like kind of, he's pathetic, but he's also endearing in these. He's not really like as effective of a mystery hunter as he wants to be, or as the fandom maybe thinks that he is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He's still a kid. He makes
Exactly.
mistakes.
That's the whole that is the whole juxtaposition, and I think these shorts really get at that. So the first short in this series, the first short to release, was
Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained, number 76, that thing.
And this actually released before any of the others. It released early on iTunes as a part of this promotional thing Disney Channel was doing for their Monstober, which is, of course, their... They have they say these clever little names for everything,
Which is, of course, Disney Channel being terrible at coming up with programming block names. January!
Yeah, January. I think Monstober is a little better. I think Freaky Freakend is probably the best. Monstober's maybe in the middle. January is bottom tier. There's a lot of this weird early release stuff going on for some of these shorts, but I do remember having, making an iTunes account specifically to download this short.
Oh, and we needed that iTunes account to get our podcast on Apple Podcast Connect. So thank you, Candy Monster.
Yeah, shout out to Candy Monster.
Michael, what did you think of Candy Monster? About the naked little man that's been eating different...
He's got his butt out the whole time. He's got...
Okay, straight up, I thought that it was the perfect love child of all of the real monster
That's what I thought.
monsters.
Yes, that's always how I felt about this. He always reminded me of the real monster that has the flesh tone, and I never watched the show. I was afraid of monsters, but
Well, that's probably a good instinct when you're a child, to be afraid of monsters.
Yeah, so he held up his eyeballs with his hands.
Yeah. Like the base of the character was pretty much close to that, but then you also had like the wide mouth of like the serpent looking one. I forget their names. I never really watched that show too terribly much.
Were you also afraid of monsters?
I was also scared of said monsters.
I didn't watch Monsters Inc. until I was 18.
Oh, wow.
That's fair.
I mean, I get it. That's understandable.
It's not really a controversial take to be afraid of monsters. That's kind of their thing.
Yes, but like Real Monsters and Monsters Inc. were being marketed to me, and I was like, no, you can't trick me like that.
I know that monsters are scary. This mainstream media trying to... So I think off the bat, we get that Gravity Falls continuity spirit, because this little gross little baby man is eating their leftover candy from Summerween.
Yeah.
So already we have like a space in the overall narrative of the show for these, even though they're just little gags. It is semi-based on a Disney Channel promo that was aired way back before the show actually aired. It was promoting the show itself, called Creature in the Closet.
I mean, yeah, even down to the creature design, like you can tell the face of it is very close to...
Yeah, and it's similarly like found footage.
Maybe that naked little man has been in their house since before Tourist Draft.
I would love that idea, especially how nonchalantly Seuss accepts that it's Grunkle Stan is a great joke.
The bit where he's eating a golf club and just reaches for another and they just grab one.
Yeah. That's like a movie snack for him.
Yeah, just like, it's like asking, like, come give me another one. They're just like, okay.
Yeah. And there were some, and he doesn't even look. He just takes it out of the golf bag and hands it. I love, we all three of us were very impressed by the first person running shots. They're chasing the monster around the house and they run down the stairs, and that's a really nice looking shot.
It looked really smooth too. That's the other thing. Like, and that's actually kind of that's kind of impeccable for them to be doing like this found footage with animation. Like, it's not like they had, it's not like Surf's Up where the entire world was a 3D rendered world and they can free range the camera. Like, no, this was all, kind of still hand drawn.
Yeah. Like, there's not a real camera in CG either, but there's even less of a camera
in 2D,
in 2D world. Yeah. And for them to do this, like, experimentation in a short is really interesting. Like, you could have just had Dipper and Mabel talking for 2 minutes. It would have been fine. You could have had all Matt Chapman shots.
Yeah, it's true.
We talked about the animation distribution in Homestar Runner. Is that Matt animates the really simple shots of characters standing and talking, which is like 90% of the cartoons, and then the more complicated shots Mike animates and spends the same amount of time doing as Matt doing the other 90%.
So the next short in this series is called
Grunkle Stan's Secret Tattoo.
Even though Disney Plus has it as the first short in the series, but Disney Plus is wrong.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. I'm starting beef with a giant mega corporation, as though we
We
hadn't
all
already.
have beef with Disney, but this we've already read some conspiracies in the Hall of Conspiracies noting Stan's tattoo. This was something the fans were already catching the breadcrumbs for. The whole purpose of this short is to just kind of mess with them, I guess.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, or I think arguably, it's similar to what I speculated was going on with the subplot in Boys Crazy, where they are talking about reversing a song, and I think it's kind of a way to be like, hey, if you hadn't caught on to this yet, maybe go check that out. Like, kind of a way of prodding you into asking questions yourself. But it is also, for the people who have been questioning, you're right, it's a giant tease.
I mean, this definitely gives me how do you type with boxing gloves on vibes as well. Like what
You're never gonna see it, kid.
yeah, exactly. Just
Yeah.
like they're like, hey, we have all these fans that are writing to us about this tattoo. What, Matt? Just do what you do best and subvert expectations and really just mess with them.
Well, we talked about it before, because in Land Before Swine, when he's in the fantasy of
right.
his taking care of Waddle's fantasy, and he takes off his shirt,
The tattoo is replaced with a cryptogram that reads lies.
and you compared that to
And this is what my parents look like.
Yes. Nice try, Dodongo.
Oh, I love their plan to get him to take off his shirt by turning up the heat, and Seuss tries to encourage him by taking off his shirt and showing off his toplessness.
And then he gets into a suggestive pose on the desk.
I think they make it work. I don't love the premise of like, oh no, it's a fat body. I need to claw my eyes out. But he does a little dance, you know. They make other jokes like.
And I heard Michael laugh really hard when Dipper opens the shower curtain and Stan is in there fully clothed, already angled to where the camera would be.
What I noticed about this that I hadn't before is like, the shower's obviously running, but like there's a very specific sound of it hitting his fez, like it's just tapping, like.
It's so good. It's such a good bit. It just.
And then he like tries to murder Dipper, basically.
Give me that camera, and he's just.
I'm gonna find you, kid.
So good.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about here because these are just really funny overall.
Yes, but in the beginning of the short, we pan past this conspiracy board where he's taken all these photos of trying to get a look at Stan's tattoo and wondering what kind of symbol it could be. And there's a page about secret society symbols.
I'm going to read this for you. Secret societies are typically fraternal orders that have been associated with everything from controlling internal government to forbidden rituals to being a bunch of old guys playing gin rummy and complaining about their wives. They feature strange symbols like the ones you see above. One particularly sinister, mysterious order features an eye with a red X through it. Many rumors have flown around about these organizations, but here are some stone-cold facts about secret societies. All secret societies worship a hyper-intelligent barn owl named Dwayne the Enforcer Roosevelt. Most meetings consist of saying the secret oath, dressing in robes, hooting, gluing owl feathers to their skin, and devouring gophers whole in honor of their beloved barn owl overlord. But not all secret societies worship barn owls. Some of them worship western screeching owls. Also, other owl-related jokes. In addition, owls. Owls. And remember, when you don't know where else to turn, just ask yourself, what would Dwayne do? Which is, use your creepy heart-shaped face to see your prey, swoop down from a tree, eat an adult male vole, then cough up his bones into a disgusting ball that kids will later open in a high school biology class.
I did that.
I did that too.
I refuse to do that. As a vegetarian, I actually sat out of that in protest.
Yeah, that's fair. I probably should have sat out too.
Yeah, here's the thing. You never actually have to do anything that someone tells you to do. But if anyone here listening is under 18, then just pretend you do.
Yeah.
So, next, we have
Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained. Anomaly number 54, the mailbox.
a Seuss-heavy one, which I'm sure Michael was delighted about.
No, Seuss is absolutely firing on all cylinders in all of these, and I know we were all delighted.
Oh, absolutely. I loved it. I love Seuss so much.
Okay, so I know he's your favorite character, but I actually have another question, Michael.
Okay.
To what extent would you say you see yourself in Seuss?
Seuss is okay. To be perfectly honest, Seuss reminds me of one of my best friends from high school. I'm gonna be just brutally honest. And he still acts like that to this day. In fact, that same person introduced me to Gravity Falls, which makes perfect sense.
Oh, dude, you gotta check out this show. I don't know why, but for some reason, I really like this handyman character.
Pretty much like it's like that moment in Cars when like the truck is watching all of the
John
Cars
Ratzenberger's watching all of the Pixar
Hey,
movies.
who's this? This is a great actor right there.
It's basically that. But like he, instead of speaking in like that lower register, he kind of speaks more up in kind of higher register, and it only just dawned on me like kind of recently that's why I kind of love Seuss. Like Seuss is the type of person that I want to be best friends with, just because like he will always be supportive, and also he will ask the questions that nobody's really thinking about.
Like, sup, dog?
And then
I also love that Dipper is like, we're going to perform some experiments on the mailbox in the woods. And he's like, oh, dude, I'll get my lab coat and safety goggles.
oh, it totally gave me like Will It Blend energy. Like the
Right?
Yeah. I bet that's probably why he thought he should. It's like, what if we want to know if it blends, dude?
I don't know. I still don't know if it'll blend.
And I love there's a drawing of where Seuss has shaved the shape of a duck with a paddle ball into the back of his head.
Yes.
And when he turns around, he's got this hilarious expression on his face.
But also, I point out that to shave the back of your head, you need to use a mirror. That's a really good drawing.
I don't doubt that Seuss has that ability.
No, and he has shown drawing prowess before, but that's the first time I'm like, oh, is Seuss a prodigy?
Yes, I think so. And he has very good taste in women. That one's going in the archives. I remember laughing so hard at that joke.
That's a bit of a TV-14 joke, Matt.
Yeah, and like the American flag, like bikini set.
I love that drawing of that woman so much.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
It's like a woman with features that I guess like her strong jaw and her muscles could be considered unattractive, but they make it work in a way that you see what Seuss sees, and we don't want to make fun of this design at all.
Well, but that's the thing about Seuss. That's what I was just saying. It's like he is always accepting and is just love is love, you know, like he doesn't discriminate.
And like we've talked about before, like Seuss is very specific, like all his jokes. He could easily be a totally broad, like stereotype character. Yeah. But they make it very like specific. I know that, you know, obviously Alex Hirsch, huge fan of The Simpsons. Not sure about Matt Chapman's relation to it. Is he the right generation?
He knows of it. I mean, he's referenced it. He doesn't have an encyclopedic knowledge like Alex, but he's familiar with it. Because
kind of the turn in this episode is that Mabel, they're about to find out who wrote journal number 3 through this all-knowing mailbox, which, again, another tease for the fans, basically. And Mabel decides to put in the mailbox a video of her shoving gummy worms up her nose to mail it back home to her parents. And when the mailbox, whatever is on the other side of this mailbox receives it, the mailbox destroys itself. And it reminded me of, in the very first Treehouse of Horror, one of the segments is about, you know where I'm going, the Simpsons moving into this haunted house. And when given the option of living in harmony with the Simpsons instead of trying to make them kill each other, the house decides to destroy itself in a manner very similar to the mailbox. It like crumples itself into a void and explodes. Yeah. And I thought there's just a very funny, like, when given the option of being with these characters or dying, it chooses to die.
Yeah, and I think even that episode was kind of like, that moment is supposed to be a reference to the Poltergeist film.
Okay, yeah.
So the original film, like, just the house pretty much just collapses in on itself. But I do like, but it wasn't by choice. It was just like, okay, you defeated us. We're going away now.
No, yeah, the fact that both times the house and the mailbox are like, I can't exist here anymore. Like, you are just too much.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to live on this world anymore. Bye.
Yeah, basically. Speaking of which...
Oh, no.
Welcome back to Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained. Today we investigate Gravity Falls anomaly number 82. This guy. Sure, he looks normal, but if he's so normal, explain why he's always facing left.
Which ends with a suicide pact on Disney Channel. Da 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 da.
Yep, it sure does. It sure does. And
Lefty, I heard Michael laughing so hard at the ways they had to figure out how to animate Lefty.
yeah, it's the kind of thing that again could only really work in 2D animation.
They don't really have credits like the episodes have, so we can't really definitively say who boarded what, but whoever boarded this one was a genius. This is
Absolutely. I love the concept too that it's like, oh yeah, you know how you see background characters and like you only ever really get to see like the same background character like a certain way, like that trope being brought to the forefront.
Yeah, it's like why do you only ever draw this character from a 3/4 angle? It's the easiest one to draw.
It's such a beautiful, incredibly intelligent way to just present something out of nothing and then twist that, be like, oh yeah, there's a reason why you never see that other side.
Mabel doesn't believe Dipper that this guy has some kind of secret to hide on his right side. But by the way, this is the one that was written by Tim McKeown, that referenced in the tweet.
But Matt Chapman still plays a part. He voices the mysterious man who only ever faces left.
It's almost his normal voice with the slightest brush of an accent.
Yeah, I love when he works at the bowling alley and Dipper asks him to pick out a bowling ball. And I guess he probably is just going off and doing like Walla, because he's like,
Let's see, you look like maybe a tenor.
A tenor. He calls the 10-pound bowling ball a tenor.
yeah, got strong bad vibes.
Good Walla, Matt Chapman.
Oh god, what was the other thing I was gonna say?
You signed the pact!
Yeah, you signed the oath. I have a family. The time has come.
Oh my god, this is so dark. But it's really funny. I know I had to use a dark word to describe it, but I can't imagine this.
These little booger aliens that are piloting half of a mech of a man.
For no reason.
No, yeah, and I love how, again, as the title suggests, they never really explain any of the things that we encounter.
Those aliens are like the type of aliens you can't, or whatever they were, you can't stop and think about it too much, because like you start poking holes and asking too many questions.
Yeah, they have a motivational poster inside their mech, which is a great detail.
Yeah, it's their office.
Yeah.
They remind me of the SpongeBobs that run SpongeBob's mind in Squilliam Returns.
Oh yeah, same energy as you don't pay me, you don't even exist. Just a clever visual metaphor used to personify the abstract concept of thought. One more crack like that and you're out of here. No, please, I have 2 kids.
Next we have Tooth.
Welcome to Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained. Anomaly number 42, the tooth.
With the best joke in all of Gravity Falls.
I found it yesterday when I was, practicing. Hey, is that a giant tooth?
And yet it doesn't feel out of character for some reason. I totally feel like he'd be like, oh man, Wendy loves musicians, eh? I know what I gotta do.
What makes me laugh harder than the sousaphone is, hey, is that a giant tooth?
Yeah. That he said, I found it while I was practicing, and it's done in the most blatant way possible.
He didn't, like, go on a journey and discover it. It was just, like, there in his line of vision, which also means he went to the lake in the middle of the night.
Yeah, again, there's layers to this. He went to the lake in the middle of nowhere to practice.
And there's static before it cuts to the shot, and these are all kind of...
They're all found footage, so he recorded
Meaning
himself
he was recording his practice session at the lake at the middle of the night.
It's like, okay, this is my rehearsal.
He doesn't want to be teased for the sousaphone, and that's why he goes to a secluded area.
He doesn't want to do it publicly until he gets really good.
This whole entire thing kind of reminded me like those types of flashbacks that really don't serve much of a purpose. You literally was like, oh yeah, I found this. Like the flashback.
Yeah, it's a really good cutaway gag. Like unlike say Family Guy where they last too long. It's
exactly.
Just quick enough.
It reminded me of. I don't know if you've ever seen the Clerks animated series.
There is a first episode and a second episode, which is a clip show of the first episode.
There was no point for that to happen, except for the fact that it's just the joke is there is no point of this.
I have never heard as much genuine fear from you, Michael, until Barrow showed up.
Yeah, okay, let's unpack Barrow. Barrow, I guess, is kind of meant to resemble the Rockafire explosion thing.
What are your thoughts on Barrow, Michael?
Where do I begin?
Do you want more Barrow? Are you going to send your letter to Mabel?
Absolutely not. I do not want her to ever voice that voice again. I'm trying to remember the name of the pizza joint. I'm sorry. Like, is it Showbiz Pizza? Yeah, there you go.
Ella said Rockafire Explosion, which is the name of the band at Showbiz Pizza.
Ah, that makes sense.
Okay, so at Showbiz Pizza, Billy Bob runs the band Rockafire Explosion, as opposed to at Chuck E. Cheese runs the band Chuck E. Cheese.
I see. The inconsistent branding is what was its downfall.
It was its downfall.
So let me just give you a little story on this, okay? I'll try to keep it super brief.
All right.
So
I love the idea that our episode about the shorts is really long. I genuinely like.
I mean, yeah, it's fitting, isn't it? So Showbiz Pizza. The more I look back to it, I always thought that it was a Chuck E. Cheese, and my mom swore up and down that it wasn't. But when I was really young, I would say about maybe 2 or 3, my mom took me to one of these pizza joints, and for the longest time, as I said, I thought it was Chuck E. Cheese. But I guess it was a Showbiz Pizza Bear place. And so it was probably one of the last ones, if not like they still had the leftover remnants of it or something. But
you went to an abandoned Showbiz Pizza.
Essentially, I fell asleep after, for some reason, I don't know why. I guess I was just tired. Maybe I just got too energied out, and like a candy crash or something. But then I woke up during the middle of their show. And I was so genuinely scared. I started screaming and yelling, and I remember having to be taken out of that place
by guys in giant bear suits.
All right,
kid, come on.
Yeah, like I think there was the person was in the suit while looking around and waving at the kids in the audience or whatever. And yeah, like I woke up to that.
And so were they animatronics, or were they guys?
There are animatronics, but there are also people in suits.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. I hope the stage closes before the guy in the Billy Bob suit walks out. Otherwise, it's like, I'm everywhere, kids!
Pretty much.
Pretty much!
So previously on this podcast, we've talked about the scrapped episode concept that was going to be a full-on parody of Labyrinth that was going to go into Dipper having a secret fear of puppets. And I think this is kind of a manifestation of that character trait. Because pretty much everyone unanimously except Mabel hates Barrow, but Dipper is particularly no, we're not doing that. Not doing it right now.
Although Dipper's reaction to Barrow seems minimalistic while Michael is in the call with us.
That's true, relatively, yeah.
Yeah, it's also the fact that Mabel's voice just is it's her voice, but tone pitched down a few decibels, just oh, hello there.
Yeah, for once it's not Alex Hirsch dubbing over what was supposed to be Christian Shaw doing a voice.
Right, it's just that much more disturbing. I'm no.
Hey, speaking of disturbing, these shorts are getting progressively scarier.
Yeah, so the monster at the end of this one, he's not as scary as Barrow, but we need to talk about a floating island with wall eyes that chants in pitched down reversed English speech.
And it has very vividly drawn teeth, obviously, because it lost.
And it loses its teeth, which is the number one nightmare for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And freeze frame bonus. When they're rowing away and you see the underside of the island, there is a skeleton there.
Oh my gosh.
So the backwards message...
What it says to them is... It's getting closer! Keep rowing! And reversed, what you can hear is, "You have awoken me from my slumber. Enter my mouth. Children, enter your destiny."
My slumber, enter my mouth, children, enter your destiny.
And then they do this glitch, it's very Cloverfield, it's scary.
Yeah,
scary.
Oof, It reminded me of something that you might see in Rick and Morty, but like then you remember you're watching a kid's show and you're like, oh no.
Da 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 da.
Yeah, no, and there's something about like it feels like the spirit of Gravity Falls, at least in its darker moments, is like that shot of Dipper in his little life vest and his little baseball cap, rowing for his life away from this lake monstrosity
that is trying to eat him, as we can hear from the backwards message.
Yeah. That's exactly like the vibe that Gravity Falls...
That has a dead person whose skin is already decomposed on its bottom.
Exactly. That's exactly the vibe that I think the darker moments of Gravity Falls try to capture. Is like, these are children, and then they're in this situation.
Yeah. Oof.
And finally we have...
The hide behind.
Which is a real thing, actually. This is a real lumberjack legend of, like... The hide behind is a nocturnal fearsome critter from American folklore that preys upon humans that wander the woods and was blamed for the disappearances of early loggers when they failed to return to camp. The creature subsists chiefly upon the intestines of its victim and has a severe aversion to alcohol, which is therefore considered a sufficient repellent. I think that's just an excuse to drink, personally.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, it's a safety precaution, Ella. I don't know. It sounds compelling to me. All right, break out the rum.
Yeah, I guess so.
Drinks all around.
So he goes around town interviewing various townsfolk, and I almost wish it was just that, because it's so funny. Like,
oh yeah.
Lazy Susan, distracted by being interviewed, won't stop pouring a pot of coffee into a single mug. It is overflowing. Trying to see the hide behind, starts just constantly turning around and looking behind her. And a customer who is trying to patiently wait for his coffee to be refilled has the funniest reaction to his waitress doing this.
yeah, it's such a good face.
Yeah.
I if I remember, I'll link it in the description. It's that good. And we get, I think this is probably like the most we've gotten from John DiMaggio as Manly Dan, I think, right?
And he's so...
I think so, yeah.
His lust for stardom to be in a movie
he's doing a movie.
Is so high that he does not notice that his and his son's and Wendy's house has been destroyed by a falling tree.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was like supposed to be their house or just like a shack that they, like a shed that they have or something, but it's gone. Like, it's a giant tree fell on it.
Yeah, their property is just gone.
And the little subtitles also are great. The little introductory, like...
Oh, yeah.
Manly Dan, lumberjack / punching enthusiast. Grunkle Stan, great uncle, mediocre boss.
No, I love that out of all of the found footage shorts that we've been watching, this one feels the most like the Blair Witch. And
yeah,
it also kind of reminded me of this other Blair Witch parody that I am very fond of. I don't know if you've watched the Thumb movies by Steve Odekirk.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen the Blair Thumb, but I've watched, Thumb Wars, obviously.
Yeah. It's so good,
that's Steve Odenkirk's, right?
Steve Odekirk. Yeah.
Odekirk.
Yeah, no N.
Yeah, no N.
Okay.
But
Oda.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Neutron guy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the Barnyard guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have similar moments where they keep going back and forth to these different the townsfolk essentially and interviewing them and them having the most ridiculous reactions and be like, I'm on TV. One of them's randomly a pirate for some reason. Just like, I'm a pirate, I only know the ways of the sea. And that's
Are you surprised that I laughed at that one?
Oh, not at all. But yeah, no, I love those types of energies. And also going back to I'm sorry, what was the waitress's name again? It was
Lazy Susan.
Lazy Susan.
Right. Going back to Lazy Susan, I love how, like, if you're paying attention, like, obviously the reason why she's like not realizing what's going on is everything is happening to her left, I guess, which is like where her lazy eye is.
Interesting, yeah. Also, I just realized Lazy Susan spins. Huh.
And she's spinning, yeah. It's such a great...
Like a lazy Susan!
We get what I am pretty sure is a reference, an intentional kind of callback to Legend of the Gobblewonker, where they think they hear the noises of the creature that they're looking for, but it's actually just an animal doing some kind of antic with an object that they don't normally have. Because in Gobblewonker, it's, beaver with a chainsaw. And here it's, wow, I'm a rocket owl.
Maybe that was Dwayne the Enforcer Roosevelt.
Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe it was. After all, the owls are not what they seem. So that is the first series of shorts, and now we're about to watch the second series of shorts entitled Mabel's Guide to Life.
Ooh.
These started airing on February 3rd, 2014, and they aired throughout that week on the Disney Channel.
This is our first foray into 2014. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year! And at this point, Charlie and I have met.
Aww.
Wait, we met before February? Or by...
I think we met in late 2013, early 2014.
Awesome!
That's just where I put it around, yeah.
Oh my goodness! Well, nice to meet you!
Nice to meet you!
Whoa, whoa! Stop the presses!
Make some noise for Mabel's Guide to Life Week. Every night, starting at 7:30, 6:30 Central, watch Gravity Falls.
Yes!
Hot tamales, it's a jackpot!
What could make it even better, you ask?
Stick around for all new Gravity Falls shorts every night.
Waddles, if you please! Mabel,
Breaking down
you gotta jog for it, jog hog!
how to live it up.
Mabel's Guide to Flying, to Fitness, to Home Pyrotechnics, to Hair Topiary.
Mabel's Guide to Life Week starts next Monday at 7:30, 6:30 Central on Disney Channel.
Today is the greatest day of my life!
That was great.
Oh my god, those are so good. So, Michael, we just watched Mabel's Guide to Life. What did you think of those shorts?
Oh man, that's like Matt just said, "Hey, listen, I could animate this too if you want. Like, just let me."
Oh my god, yeah. No, we were saying, because in the first it was clear there was an effort to get every writer involved, and they just started, like, kind of saying, Matt, you probably got the rest of this handled. This second series of shorts, I doubt there is a second writer on these.
Yeah, I agree.
Those were just Homestar Runner cartoons.
And even I never thought about them before, but like even the intro, like the little gags are so funny. Like there are all these different,
Mabel's
basically
Guide to Ape Card Games?
ape card games. The whole premise is basically Mabel is showing us a different aspect of her world, but then the intros, show us little clips of others that we don't get to see, and they get to just go wild because you're only seeing it for 2 seconds. My favorite being Mabel's Guide to Magnets, where she has a magnet suit and is attracting, forks and spoons and then a microwave, and they cut away right before the impact.
So she didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
If they didn't cut away, that would have hit her in the head.
Oh, they saved her. Yeah, they saved her.
Yeah, she edited herself out of that situation.
Yeah. I mean, we've already established on this podcast that Mabel's the best character, but this really cements that.
Yeah.
But not to be confused with the world's most perfect man.
That's right. That is revealed in the first short,
Mabel's Guide to Dating!
where Mabel gives a dating quiz to Seuss, Dipper, and Grunkle Stan, who was only there because he was promised bacon.
Michael, do you have any notes on Seuss being declared the most dateable man in the world?
Oh, as I said before, just Seuss is all loving. Love is love with Seuss.
Yeah, like he said, he wants 7 kids so he can love one every day of the week.
Exactly. And I love how he just puts his arms out and immediately just a heavenly ray falls.
He's a Disney princess.
Yeah, the doves
Oh my god.
show up.
Yeah, no, so Mabel's Guide to Dating is about her learning what everyone else already knew.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I forgot how laugh-a-minute these were. Like, I thought the Dipper's Guide shorts were really hilarious, but these are just and you're right, it's definitely Matt's influence that brings it completely up to 11.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, even just in the dating one, right? Like, talking about, all the boys, just can't keep them off me. Very strong bad.
Mabel, baby, take me back.
Yeah, cut to cardboard cutout that we've...
Yeah, that cardboard cutout that she calls Zach has a basketball jersey on. Most believe this to be a High School Musical reference, as Zac Efron played a basketball star in that film.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh, that's great. You know what you did, Zach.
Yeah. And if a relationship isn't working, force it.
Bad advice, Mabel.
Bad advice.
Oh my goodness.
Next we have
Mabel's Guide to Stickers!
in which she takes us through the history of the sticker, which is quite interesting. There are these texts that she shows at the beginning that at first Dipper is refuting, but then, like you said, she edits them out. which I think was a very smart move on the editor's part.
Her snapping her fingers and Dipper is suddenly not there has duck-amuck energy.
Yeah, and also, like, at the very end, Seuss appearing with as a waiter with, like, a chocolate shake and a burger. How'd I get here?
Editing is just, like, teleportation magic, which is something, I mean, we've already said this, but something Matt wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the text that she shows us about the ancient Greeks reads, "The Greeks are a wonderful culture, with many different gods and myths. Hercules, Narcissus, and Achilles are all myths that are retold to this day, and have relevance in our current society. Themes of love, hate, betrayal, and arrogance populate stories from this time. But there have been lost stories as well, forgotten by the sands of time, including the story of a peasant named Damocles, a shepherd who angered the gods with his hubris. When the gods turned their focus to Damocles, they discovered that not only was Damocles a shepherd, he was also secretly a robot who could fire lasers out of his face. When Damocles melted Apollo and Mercury with his laser face, it signaled the beginning of the Great Robot War. The robots eventually overthrew the Pantheon and established a new robot order. The robots forced the humans underground for years to toil in their underground mines to find igneous rocks, which robots eat to gain power. The Greeks hated and feared their new robot oppressors, but stood firm against them in combat. The Greek people formed a Trojan horse to dupe the foolish metal ones into allowing the humans to overtake their robo-future castle. Even though they were driven out, these mechanical beings did not despair. The robots beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past."
So because this wouldn't have been in the script, this doesn't necessarily mean Matt wrote it. I think Alex wrote it.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then she flips the page to the entry on Aztecs.
Because Aztec war paint was exactly like a Rasta orange.
Of
Which is
course,
a great line.
Yeah.
And Michael, we'd love for you to read this one for us. And of course, because as we've said before, you are from the state with the least Mexican influence, I have put a pronunciation guide in here for you.
Oh, thank you. The Aztecs had many rituals and ceremonies that have gone unpracticed for hundreds of years. Most impressive among them was the act of Quetzalcoatl, the ritual of forming a circle around a wolf or wild dog and chanting sacred words which gave the dog the ability to speak English and play basketball, or Alamalitsi. Once the Aztecs used these rituals on a very special dog. The special dog befriended a lonely boy who was the water boy for his local high school Alamalitsi team. After the dog ran into the court and became a fan favorite, the mean former owner kidnapped the dog. Luckily, the lonely boy steals him back just in time to make it to the big tournament, where it is declared that, quote, "there's nothing in the rulebook that says a dog can't play Alamalitsi." The dog scored an amazing last-second point to win the game. Everyone rejoiced. Then the ritual Chaloin Zunzli was performed to allow the dog to have puppies, save Christmas, and become Santa's most special reindeer.
This is such a stupid joke.
Extremely.
But I have actually been awaiting us getting to talk about it in the podcast, because there's just a summary of the film Air Bud on for a frame for no real reason.
But, like, Olamalitsi is real. Like, that
yes,
is...
basketball is indeed based on an Aztec sport. You can see Olamalitsi being performed in Road to El Dorado, which is based on a bunch of Aztec myths.
Yeah.
So I have a theory about this one, Michael.
Oh, okay.
So there are many instances in media of a basketball playing dog, most notably Teen Wolf and Air Bud.
Because it does say the ritual would be performed with dogs or wolves.
That's true. Okay.
It applies to any canid.
I believe that this mythical Aztec dog is the Twabka we've been looking for, Michael.
Oh, yeah?
Twabka, of course, as everyone knows, is an acronym standing for Teen Wolf, Air Bud, Common Ancestor.
Ah, yes, the missing link.
Exactly.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Now, Ella told me she has a theory of how Wile E. Coyote's inclusion in Space Jam ties into this.
Well, it's not so much a theory, I'm just wondering about, like, because Wile E. Coyote is not an inherently basketball-playing dog. He had to be taught to play basketball by Michael Jordan.
That is true. That did happen in the film Space Jam, in the biopic Space Jam.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of it's a nature and nurture question, I suppose. Maybe he was a descendant, and it was an instinct that he hadn't tapped into yet.
He's also not a Canis lupus. He is a canine, but he is not of the same species as wolf.
He's a super genius.
Oh, but I mean, you could say that he is like a wild dog of sorts. So, okay, I Charlie, you briefly mentioned this to me like earlier, about not this particularly, but you just made a reference to Air Bud recently, and immediately I was sitting there thinking like, I would love to be able to see like this kind of joke with Air Bud, but like applying to other non-sports related activities that require.
Isn't that just dog with a blog?
Well, but
Ain't no term and condition that says a dog can't have a blog.
that's true. But I mean, like, even with there has to be rules. Like, immediately my mind went to like a dog as a lawyer, like. Buddy,
I want to know what areas of life there are specific rules saying dogs can't do this.
If a dog is accused, it can act as its own defense. But to defend someone else, it does need to pass the bar exam.
More like the bark exam.
Wah.
Buddy and Sons, attorney at paw. Objection, Your Honor. He's clearly leading the witness. Of course he's leading the witness. He's a dog.
He's a guide dog.
He's a guide dog.
All right, Michael, we know what the first pilot you and I are going to be pitching to networks is.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, there you go. I also love that they throw in references to Air Buddies, the series of films about the
specifically Santa Buddies, so
And-
not even the
yeah.
first Air Buddies.
There's also the scene where, in exchange for a baby on board sticker to get the cops off his trail, Stan gives Mabel a tub of industrial sprinkles, and her line read is so good. You gotta play it.
I'm gonna get so sick.
Next we have
Mabel's Guide to Fashion!
featuring the wonderful Jareth Seuss.
Oh, so
Yeah,
good.
Seuss is dressed as Jareth the Goblin King from... Just not even like a lookalike, like it's a very accurate cosplay.
Straight up,
Screen
yeah.
accurate.
You remind me of the dude.
What dude?
The dude with the power.
What power?
The power of voodoo.
Who, dude?
You dude.
Dude what?
Remind me of the dude. Yeah, and like you said, Charlie, it's funny that we have the Fear of Puppets in the Dipper's Guide shorts, and now we have this. It's like little fragments of this scrapped episode coming through. And I love another thing I've forgotten about. Again, that continuity of when they sneak up on Stan to give him a flash makeover, he is singing to himself the Stan Wrong song, which is really sweet.
Oh, I didn't catch
'Cause
that.
Mabel wrote it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm Stan and I was wrong. I'm singing.
I'd be really mad at you girls. I didn't look so fabulous.
Oh my god, I've said this 100 times already, but that's a Matt line.
Yeah. And same with the, like, when they give McGucket a makeover using the back of his body. This is the way my body naturally wants to move anyway. It feels like something Coach Z would say or something.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And next we have Mabel's Guide to Color, which confirms that Stan's nose is indeed orange, even to them, which is really interesting to me because you figure, he's colored.
Ella is also colorblind, so whether something is pink or it's orange is always a mystery to her.
It's true. It's salmon. But, no, my point being that, like, in cartoons, there's an element of stylization, obviously, and, like, things have colors that if they were real and, like, in universe, maybe they don't necessarily see it that way, because to them, it's like a normal person. But no, Stan's nose is orange, to them, in universe. And I don't know how to feel about that. It would be like saying that, like, Dipper and Mabel have 4 fingers, because, like, to them, they have the same amount of fingers. It's just how it's drawn, how it's done through the cartoon lens.
I mean, I could chalk that up to just, he's an old man that doesn't necessarily wear sunscreen
Or take care
all
of
the time when he
himself,
should be. Yeah.
No, I agree. I like that it's canon. I'm just surprised
So
that they pointed out that way.
The ultimate punchline of this sketch kind of became a meme because it is a man being literally attacked by a rainbow.
Right, so there would be memes of, like, the Disney censors when something gay happens in a cartoon or something.
I love this. I think this is my favorite one among them. We get everyone's favorite colors, which are all really weird and unconventional.
Yeah, that's a great montage. Yeah, Gomper's favorite color is burgundy. Is leopards a color?
Leopards, plural, not leopard print. several leopards.
Yeah, leopards. Is leopards a color? And then the visual gag, flannel.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they either that was only the shed behind their house or their house is back.
Yeah, I still think it wasn't their house, because we do see the house later and it looks different, but maybe it was rebuilt.
It might have been a house they were building.
Yeah. Then we have the final short in Mabel's Guide to Life,
Mabel's Guide to Art!
which, this has been pointed out before, predicted the NFT craze. It's just the same stupid cat with different hat each time. Yeah, I'm selling them for $10 a pop.
Somebody get this girl more cats.
Yeah, I love moments where Stan and Mabel bond, because at the beginning of the series they seem like two very different characters, and by the end they've realized, oh, we've written the same character twice.
Yeah, exactly. When they get in a rhythm together, they are unstoppable. And there's something about, like, there's a lot of Homestar jokes I find where, there's, like, more and more, like, inhuman things about these characters, like talking about Strong Sad's elephant feet, or, like, so that's what I was reminded of when Toby Determined talks about his cat whiskers.
Toby and McGucket, respectively, just become Coach C for the duration of these shorts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that checks out.
Or no, maybe the cat whiskers thing would be more King of Town.
Yeah. I love you were saying it sounds like limousine,
Yeah,
right?
There's a clip where it says caricature and a graphic that it looks like it's made up by a VHS editing board, and it's paired with a hair metal screech that sounds very similar to Matt Chapman's character Larry Palarancini.
Tonight! Come on! We'll be coming down to Boulder! We'll win the T-Top down!
Thanks, Larry.
No props, strong bad.
From the fictional band Limousine. Fictional-ish. They exist in the real world, sort of.
I was about to say, don't crush my dreams.
Limousine is half existent. Let's go with that, Michael.
Okay.
How old were you when your parents finally told you that limousine isn't real?
No, Limousine has done concerts, so, like,
Yeah.
they're more real than the Archies. And the Archies had a #1 hit.
They're more real than Tramp Stamp.
Yeah.
Topical. So, there are a couple of unused ideas for these Mabel shorts. There was Mabel's Guide to Smiles, in which Mabel visits a prison. This was scrapped for various reasons, but I think it's also very similar to Headhunters when she enters the biker bar. It's the same bit, more or less.
It also kind of comes about in the second Comic-Con panel.
Yeah, that's true. And then there was Mabel's Guide to Death, in which Mabel helps us cope with the death of a caterpillar.
Oh.
I think would have been fun. But yeah, I think they had to have a certain number of shorts, and Mabel has so much potential. I feel like I'm surprised there aren't more that had to get cut. And then there's also the question of when do these shorts take place? Because as we've talked about, they retain a sense of continuity from the series. So someone tweeted that question at Alex Hirsch. Are the shorts canon to the series? How does Dipper still have journal number 3? Because if you recall, in Gideon Rises, Grunkle Stan now has journal number 3. So Alex says the shorts happened before Gideon Rises throughout the summer, just at various points, which I think is really interesting because we've talked a little about before how you can almost conceivably make a timeline of everything that happens in Gravity Falls. I don't think it quite works out, but you believe enough that these could happen in between various episodes when they're not in life-threatening peril.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you wanna start our segment?
Yes. Michael, are you ready to be the newest contestant on America's hit game show?
Boy howdy.
All right, that's a verbal contract.
Welcome to Name That Homestar Parallel! We can come up with a catchier name later! Michael William Hunter is our first contestant today. Michael William Hunter, tell us about your history with Homestar Runner.
I have a podcast about it, and I love the tunes. I've been watching them since I was a kid.
Now, it says here you ran a very special MySpace account in your middle school years. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Regrettably, I was I had made a Strong Bad official MySpace, an unofficial official Strong Bad MySpace, where I would reply to people as Strong Bad whenever they would send me messages.
Ooh.
And, Michael, are you ready for your first question?
Yes, I guess.
In Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained episode, The Mailbox, Dipper mentions the mailbox is not near a house.
There it is, in the middle of the forest. No house, no address.
Can you think of a moment from Homestar Runner that parallels this line?
A mailbox that's not near a house. Oh, Strong Bad's. Strong Bad's mailbox.
Okay, can you give us the name of the cartoon, Michael?
Oh, jeez. That's gonna be hard. I'm
sorry, that would actually be Spemail Other Days.
On Tuesdays, I check my snail mail. Where's my house?
You get half a point, Michael.
Okay.
All right.
In the Mabel's Guide to Life episode, Mabel's Guide to Dating, who does Cardboard Zac Efron remind you of?
It kind of reminds me of Cardboard Homestar or Cardboard Marzipan. That both...
For the full point, we're going to need you to name a cartoon that either of those characters appeared in, Michael.
Oh, jeez. I guess technically Strong Bad's character video is where one of them shows up.
All right, we will count it. The first appearance of Cardboard Marzipan, which was used in a more similar context, would be in Happy Fireworks.
Marzipan's still out of town for the summer, eh, Homestar?
No, what are you talking about?
Yes, I'm still out of town, Bugs. You gorgeous hunk of man.
Oh, why, thank you, Cardboard Marzipan.
In Mabel's Guide to Life episode Mabel's Guide to Color, she specifies that
color was invented by a magic wizard named Crandolph the Fabulous,
and shows a photo of the Great Depression that she has hastily drawn a wizard onto. Michael, who does Crayon Dolph the Fabulous remind you of?
Reminded me of the technological wizard from the Valentine's Teen Girl Squad cartoon.
Oh, but what I had written down, the wireless wizard from Teen Girl Squad issue 12.
Wireless wizard! Texting from a few feet away? For shame!
We're gonna give you the point.
So awesome, okay.
For the gold.
Oh boy.
Take it or leave it now, Michael. This is the final chance to earn some points. Double or nothing. In Mabel's Guide to Life, episode Mabel's Guide to Color, Candy specifies that her favorite color is
Magic Vision Poster.
It is referred to as Magic Eye, but it is describing the same phenomenon. Michael, can you tell us what? And you know what? I'll even tell you what Strong Bad email mentions Magic Eye.
Okay. I swear, like, isn't it like, I don't know, for some reason I'm imagining like literally Strong Set is covered in like a galaxy type of paint, right?
Okay,
like,
okay. And is this actually happening to him?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so where is this image of Strong Set covered in this paint seen?
Maybe a drawing?
Okay, a drawing. Where? Where is this drawing?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That would actually be in Spemail Pop-Up about Strong Bad's pop-up book.
Oh, right. Oh my gosh, how could I forget? Such a great tabs.
But you know what, Michael? As the only contestant ever to participate on this show, you're still on for the next episode.
Oh, thank goodness.
You're continuing to the next round. Let's hear it for Michael William Hunter.
Try again next week. Maybe you'll win the AMC Gremlin. All right, I think we're ready to take a brief stroll. Would you say?
A sojourn.
Yeah. A recess. To the Hall of Conspiracies. You want to come along, Michael?
Yeah, I would love to.
Charley and Ella's Guide to the Hall of Conspiracies.
Ladies and gentlemen, right this way to the Hall of Conspiracy.
don't know if you noticed this, Michael, but at the end of every Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained short, there's a card that flashes for a few frames with pieces of an image and pieces of cryptograms.
Yes.
Yeah. So, those 6 cards, when pieced together, there was actually, if you remember the text that we were talking about with that secret society symbols, that mysterious order with an I with an X through it.
It said to look for an I crossed out in red. That is your guide on how to combine these 6 images.
Gotcha, okay.
And when you combine them, you get this image.
Ooh, okay.
So it's a very long image because it's like 6 frames pieced together like a puzzle.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
There's a cryptogram along the bottom of the page, which is the normal 3 letters back Caesar cipher. And it reads, Charlie, you want to read it?
Okay. From the first until the last, search the codes of credits past. 1 means 1, so search them all. Welcome to Gravity Falls.
So that code, that message, hints at how to decode the rest of this page, which you see around there are these little numbers written in red. And this is like the most complex encoding the show has done so far.
Because they had like almost a year to work on this, the fans.
Mm-hmm. But it also shows how fast the fandom was working at this point in time. Because like every time there's a code, there's a cryptogram, immediately it's on Tumblr or Reddit. It's just this giant group effort.
I want to point out some things about this image first before we start decoding these.
Yes. Yes.
1, the description in Stan's tattoo did say that this symbol represents a secret society.
Yes.
In the browser game, Rumble's Revenge, one of the codes translates to, there is a secret society in Gravity Falls.
Correct.
And I don't think this is a spoiler. I think fans pieced this together. The last cryptogram at the end of Season 1, at the very end of Gideon Rises, reads, search for the blind eye.
What does this all have to do with each other?
So an eye crossed out in red that you have to work hard to piece together. The search for the blind eye, though everyone seemed to think that's what the Gideon Rises cryptogram was talking about.
So when we go into these sets of numbers, each set of brackets represents a word. And within each bracket set, the number in front of each parenthesis indicates which Gravity Falls episode's credits code to look at. So search the codes of credits past. And up there at the top left, there's a 1 with a parenthesis in front of it, and that says you're going to need to look in the cryptogram of episode 1, Tourist Trapped, to find what we're looking for. The numbers that follow indicate which letters from that decoded cryptogram to take and use as the letters of these new words. So if you want to decode 1 parenthesis 14, take Tourist Trapped's code, welcome to Gravity Falls, use the 14th letter, which is I. And once you do all that, you decode it, you properly combine it all together.
Oh my goodness, I don't think I even knew about this.
No, yeah, that's the thing. You didn't...
I didn't watch the shorts when they came out.
Yeah, but even if you were a little bit late to the party, you did not have to do this yourself, because people were so fast.
Wow.
So, you want to read what this message is?
Sure. I was so blind, he lied to me. The darkness is near.
Ooh.
Very chilling to come out of these very overall kind of silly shorts, which I find really fascinating.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. It's kind of foreboding.
Yeah. And goes to show that even, we've talked about the Flash games having so much thought put into them, and now we have these shorts that have so much thought and care put into them. And it's just really nice to see.
And so much math.
So much math. So much math.
And if people want to hear about more cartoons written in the style of these shorts, where might they learn just a plethora of information about this style of writing and comedy, Michael?
Oh, well, if you take a gander over at pipedreampodcast.com, there's a little podcast called Come On Fhqwhpods, a Homestar Runner podcast, where myself and David and Alexa, who have also been on this show a few times.
All 3 of you are docents.
Yeah, we are.
It's a docent-only podcast. Like a spin-off of our podcast, I say, after we already acknowledged in your last appearance that we ripped you off.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, we discuss Homestar Runner cartoons in chronological order, release order, and it's interesting to see how Matt and Mike Chapman have gone from writing I wouldn't necessarily say they were poorly written like shorts back in the day, but they were longer. They weren't quite as snippy and witty and tight-knit. And now we're in the heyday of Homestar Runner. We're talking about some of the most iconic tunes that they put out. And just to see kind of with this show, to see kind of where that eventually launched them to is pretty fantastic. So I think it's a good sister show to listen to.
Absolutely. And these shorts are hilarious, and I did say everything on the Homestar Runner website is written in the same style.
Yeah.
However, there's hundreds of things on that website. It can be a little I mean, none of them are longer than 4 minutes, but it can be a little daunting to scroll through. So if you need a guide, if you need a Sherpa to take you through internet video past, I know none better than Michael William Hunter. And his podcast, Come On Fhqwhpods, available on pipedreampodcasts.com.
Thank you.
Or wherever you get your podcasts. But what's interesting is also on that site, you can find other episodes of this podcast, Mystery Shack Look Back. There's also, other podcasts there. There's How Did This Not Get Made just returned for a new season.
Oh my gosh.
Escape from Vault Disney is still being forced to do National Geographic content.
And while you're there, you can find links to our show's social medias and our Discord server, and you can contact us at mysteryshacklookback@gmail.com. Thank you to Brian for making the instrumental to our theme song and voicing Stan in the Hall of Conspiracy's intro. Thank you to Sim and the Dim Bulb V2-0 for making our Hall of Conspiracies theme.
And there's a link to that theme in the description. It's a full song. It's called Lentil Dentist. It is a remix of the first episode of Mystery Shack Look Back. Adam, good job.
Good job in general. You're doing great.
You're doing great. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise, all right?
Exactly. And thank you, Michael, for coming by once again to talk some Gravity Falls and Matt Chapman with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to be here.
It's always a good time.
So is this the part where I leave? Because I know you guys have this ukulele outro.
Listen, okay, Michael, you might not know this as even though you're a musician yourself, you mostly compose your music on the computer.
Yeah.
So the ukulele is actually very small, and 3 people can comfortably fit in a room with one.
Oh.
You remember, from the thing Marzipan's playing in the luau. Remember that?
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Take me back to the place I know with the mystery shack and the forest gnomes. I'm already packed, so come on, let's go. Don't get me started. My heart's in Gravity Falls.